Hello, everyone. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the P. Joe Show. I hope you guys are having a super duper day wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Thank you for allowing me to join you right here, right now. I appreciate it. And I want you to know that I do not take that for granted. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of your day and a part of your life. Today, we're talking about something really serious. Um, yeah, this one's really serious, really deep, really, really big. And I'm setting down a little bit cold. I tried full disclosure. I tried to record something differently earlier, and I could not do it. I got real jumbled up and I ended up scrapping it. I walked around a little bit, went outside, got myself in the sunshine, and I am back to see if this one works. What I want you to know and what we're talking about today is that it is absolutely and 100% okay to not be okay. It is 100% okay to be not okay. This is such a big thing for me because as we know, I've had lots of issues in my life when I would mask up and pretend to be okay. And I want you to know that it's okay to need help. And so I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to let you kind of see into where I'm at and what I've been doing because I'm going to be honest with you. I have been struggling lately and I want to share that with you. My struggles now are a lot different than what they were before, but I think that it's very important that we share our processes with each other because I believe through that vulnerability, through showing that, it will help others and be empowered to seek the help that they need as well. So that is why I'm here today. I'm not dancing around anything. I'm sitting right down smack dab in the middle of it. I'm going to be talking about this from the perspective of buying a house. As we know, I've talked about it. I've talked about it and I've talked about it. We are in the process of buying a house. And if anyone out there is listening to this and you are in the process of buying a house right now, you understand how utterly batshit crazy it is right now. I mean, it is certifiably batshit crazy. Our realtors, they kept saying that in a much more professional manner to us all week. We were in Colorado last week, actually getting to look at houses. We've done virtual showings. We've done all the things. We've done all the things. And our realtors have been saying that this is so unprecedented that, the housing market is so hot for sellers right now and so crazy for buyers that they don't even know, I mean, what's happening. Like our agents were learning through the offer process just as much as we were. And we're kind of shocked and surprised by some of the things that people were offering. And we learned through it, we grew through it. And fortunately for us, we went under contract on a house last week. But it took a whole lot for us to get there. And one of the things that I want you to know is that while we were going through it, I went through it. And the way that I said that, I imagined it caps lock with a period after every word. I went through it. I did. And it brought up so much stuff. And I want you to know that through the process of going through it, I always knew that I was okay. The reason why I want you to know that it's okay to not be okay is because I hate it when people who have done so much work will downplay how hard it is in the beginning, right? I think about that as if you're a mom or a dad, if you're listening to me, if you are a mom and you have that newborn baby, your first baby, if you were like me, a lot of the people in my life, they had babies that are kids that were older than my child. We started late. And so when I had my Sadie girl, my oldest daughter, well, to be honest with you, I was pretty isolated at the time, and the people that I knew in my life who had kids, they were older children. And so when I was struggling as a new mom with a baby and I reached out to them for help, they were so far removed from the baby part of it that they didn't remember what that was like, right? Like they didn't remember how hard it was to sleep train a baby because they hadn't done it in 6 or 7 years. And so they were encouraging, but they couldn't give me the support that I needed. In fact, one gal, I love her to bits. She just said, "You just lay her down and walk away. I don't understand what the problem is." I'm like, "But she keeps crying and crying and crying. She wants to cry, and I can't figure it out." Anyway, that's what I kind of look at how this work is, right? Like it is hard when you're in the beginning stages of loving yourself through everything, allowing yourself to feel all the things that you're supposed to feel. It is hard in the beginning of trusting yourself, trusting the universe, letting go of control, surrendering, releasing. When those aren't your standard tools of operation, when you are just developing those tools and those skills and you're going through something, it is hard to revert back to them. So that's why I've named this and why we are talking about this from the aspect of it is okay to not be okay. Because as I was going through this, I knew that I was okay. I wasn't a danger to myself. I wasn't a danger to anybody else. I was trusting in myself. I was trusting in the universe, but I had to practice that daily. I had to love myself through that daily. And when I felt my old friend anxiety coming back on, I had to use new tools to help me navigate that anxiety. And I'm going to be honest, I haven't felt anxiety like this in a very long time. And I knew that the tools that I used the last time that I felt this anxiety, they are no longer applicable in my life. They no longer align to who I am. So I had to develop new tools and new ways of navigating crippling anxiety. And to do that, I had to get help. I had to get help. And so I reached out to one of my coach friends and she helped me. And then I've started working with a new coach who is helping me navigate this new anxiety in my life. Does that mean that I'm not okay? Absolutely not. Does that mean that I'm okay? Yes. Are either one of those better than the other? No. I knew that I needed help, and so I got help. And help can come in any way, shape, or form, as long as it's constructive. So help can come from a therapist, help can come from a friend, help can come from a coach, help can come from listening to a podcast, help can come from books, help can come from anything. But it is important that when whatever you're carrying, if you can't set that down and you've got to move through it and you're struggling with moving through it, It's important to know when you need help and to give yourself permission to get help. My coach, she said something so beautiful to me. She said, affirmations are screaming that you're okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I trust in the universe. Da, 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 da. Affirmations are screaming that you're okay when your soul is whispering that you're not. When your soul is whispering, I need help. And so I want you to think about that. I want you to think about whatever you're going through. Are you navigating that easily? Some people can, you know? This was my first time buying a house. So the next time I buy a house, it will be easier for me. This time I had a lot to go through and I needed help going through it. And the way that I look at it is I've had this vision and this metaphor in my brain like and this is something that I think in the metaphysical world and the spiritual world we just kind of throw some of these statements out there and we don't tell people how to do it. And I think it's a really easy shame trap to get into is, you just got to let it go. I surrender and I trust in the universe. Just surrender, turn it over, let it go, trust. All of those things are true, but we are very human people. And so it's not in our human way to just let it go. Just trust there's going to be a house out there for you. Your house is waiting for you. Okay, great. Ollie, Ollie Oxenfree, come out, bitch. I want to see you. I'm working hard to find you, house. Where are you? Right? Like, so that's how I felt. I felt like I am trusting. I know that it's there. I also knew that I had a lot that I had to learn. I knew that there was a gift and there were lessons in this whole process. I knew that. It brought up so much stuff that I got to walk through and navigate through. And I did that and I learned from it. And it was a great experience, but it was a hard experience. And it was something that I needed help with. And so I got help. I got help through my friends who knew that I didn't need to be reminded that my house was out there, that I needed to trust, who knew I didn't need that. But I got help from my friends who would just say, Lee, that is crazy. How you doing? And when I would say, I'm doing all right, but man, this is hard. They knew that that's all I needed was a place to say, holy shit, this is hard. A place where I can voice and speak out my concerns about writing a big, huge check and not say, well, that's why you have that savings. I know that. I know that. But knowing it and doing it are two different emotions, right? I know we've got the savings for this house, but switching that gear of now suddenly being okay to write a big check, that's a different energy. That's a different emotion. And it's something that I had to navigate through. So I had friends who loved me through it. And you better believe I also took the lesson in that to remind me when a friend calls me and needs a place to just vent, to let them be and not try to coach them out of it. You better believe I took that lesson because I am so grateful to the friends that took my calls and just let me talk and didn't try to pep me up because they knew that I was okay. They knew that I knew all of that. I just needed a place to be human and just to be like, golly, help me. God bless my heart. Right. So I got help in that way. The other way that I got help through all this is with my real estate agents. They helped me with the practical stuff. They helped Greg and I figure out what we actually wanted in a house. What were our priorities? And they guided us through that because I trusted them to do that. So they helped us and they supported us and me through that. And you better believe I had some calls to them where I was like, okay, is this shit crazy? Like, really? Really? To get a house, am I going to have to let somebody live there rent free after closing for 60 days and then give them $5,000 to help ease the burden of moving? Is that what I'm going to have to do? Because in my mind, I was like, there ain't no damn way I'm doing that. Let you live there 60 days rent free. That's your $5,000. Take that and move on. I too, I too am inconvenienced with moving, but nobody's giving me $5,000. So yes, this is how I thought. This is how I navigated through it. Were those thoughts bad? No, they were very real thoughts to me, and I voiced them to my agents, and they were like, "If you don't want to do that, you don't have to do that." It's like, "Thank you," but then they also said, "But if you want these really nice houses, you might have to do something like that." So then we had to talk about, okay, maybe we're not buying a house where the work's already been done and that they're getting 11 offers in one day. Maybe those aren't the houses for us. And so it let us step back and fill out what was really important to us. And so we did that. And then when it all got to be really heavy, the anxiety was coming up and I was noticing all of my anxiety triggers. I wasn't sleeping. I was kind of obsessing. I was distracted. I was being grouchy. I'm not a grouchy person. I was being grouchy. I knew that I needed bigger help. And I went and I got that. And now we're tackling my anxiety through a holistic way. And right now it's working for me. And ironically, I'm helping 4 other women navigate their anxieties. And do I feel even for a second that I'm not remotely qualified for that? Absolutely not. Because I understand where they are. I get it. And sometimes when you're with yourself, you can't see, you're just too close to the issue. So you need somebody that can help you slowly start to separate yourself from the issue and to be able to help you get the help that you need. The way that I'm looking at this, the vision that I have for this in my brain is we can't always let it go, right? Like I couldn't just let that go. And so I imagined my house buying experience like I was climbing a mountain. And I had all of the things that I needed in my backpack. And my backpack was a very unstructured, very cheap backpack. And it was filled to the top with heavy shit. And I was struggling with carrying it. I did not have the option of taking the pack off and taking stuff out of it. Sometimes we don't get to do that. And look, that's a really big truth. Sometimes the solution is not taking things out of your backpack and just leaving them on the side of the road. Sometimes it's keeping everything in your backpack, but reinforcing your pack, making it a better pack. It's not changing the weight, it's changing how you carry the weight. So when I was carrying this big unstructured backpack, I needed help. So I started to get help. And with that help, it allowed me to start to give myself the love and compassion and the grace that I needed to carry that load. So, love, compassion, grace, they became the frames of my pack. They became the padded straps of my pack. They became the waistband of my pack. The weight did not change. The way that I carried it was changing. And it allowed me to go through what I needed to go through. I know that sounds weird. That's the way that I think, right? Because I do think sometimes in this world and in this life, when we are seeking help, when we are looking to these Instagram bandits and these influencers who have all their shit figured out. I'm using big air quotes on that, and that even got an eye roll. Like when they have it all figured out, they oversimplify it and make it sound so easy. But when you're going through it, it's not easy. And so I think that it is important that we celebrate that and that you see and you hear from more people who are going through it or who have just been through it, and they talk about how they got through it. And they're open and honest about the help that they've received. And they're open and honest about maybe the breakdowns that they've had. Because you better believe last Monday, last Monday, when we had an offer that was rejected and it was a great offer, but that house went crazy, you better believe that I had myself a little temper tantrum, a little hissy fit, and it was okay. Like as soon as I released that emotion, are you kidding me? I said some more things than that, but I'm gonna kind of keep it a little bit more PG. But when I had that moment, I released that moment and then I was moving on. I didn't automatically think that I had had a setback in my process. No, I just let myself feel that. I was pissed. I was angry. I was disappointed. I was a little bit heartbroken. And I let myself feel all those things. And then I went to bed because I was tired. But friends, that's what I want you to know. So many of us right now we are climbing these mountains with these crazy unsupported backpacks. You guys are all doing really, really hard things. And it is okay to need help with that. It is okay to not be okay with where you're at right now. It's okay to not be all sunshiny and rainbowy. It's okay. I want you to give yourself that love and that grace. I want you to remind yourself, or allow me to remind you, that if your load feels too heavy, look at how you're carrying it. If you feel like you can't take one more step, get the help that you need, the love and the support that you need to make that next step, to take that next step. That's the message today. That's the message every day. I think that's the most important message that I could ever give you is if you can't take that next step on your own, find someone to help you take that next step. It can be a friend, it can be a coach, it can be a therapist, it can be your mom or your dad, it can be your spouse. Just find someone who can help you reframe your pack with love, compassion, and grace. That's all we need in life is love, compassion, and grace. All right, my lovies, I feel like I'm pretty done here. I hope this made sense to you. I hope that it landed. I really do. Because I'm going to be honest, when I first sat down to do this podcast earlier today, this was a much different message. Maybe that message will come out at another time. But today I really feel just called to say, hey, you know what? I needed help and I got help. And it doesn't make me less worthy to sit here and talk to you today. It doesn't mean that I've got my shit any less together because I had to get help navigating something really, really big. That's the message. If you need help, get help. There is no shame. Oh my God, there is no shame with needing help. None at all. My dear loves, thank you for listening to me today. I love you so much. I am rooting for you. And as always, I am here for you. Thanks for being with me today. I hope you have a good day. Love you guys so much. Bye.